All right, this video is going to cover a review of concepts for the Word Chapter 5. Remember, we were generating form letters, a data source, doing the merge, creating mail labels, envelopes, and also a directory using the merge function in the mailings tab. So the review is going to cover the concepts for the quiz. There's 15 multiple choice in the quiz, 10 true false, and the following concepts are ones that will be addressed and hopefully will help prepare you for the quiz. So studying this would be a good idea, so good luck. Okay, the first concept is this: if you want to see the current margin settings displayed on the rule, hold down the Alt key while pointing to the margin boundary. Here is your ruler, and if you wanted to see your margins in your document, you would hold down the Alt key. Now, this is again for a Windows keyboard. We're working on Mac, so it doesn't always work, but you would see this kind of dotted line that would go down your document to show you where the margins are. Okay, the next concept that we will cover is looking at the yellow diamond in an object. It's the object's adjustment handle. Here we have our smart arts, and you can kind of see there's yellow diamonds over the object. When I click and drag on those diamonds there, I'm actually adjusting the object, okay? So I'm clicking and moving the diamond over. I'm actually making adjustments to the object. So yes, the yellow diamonds allow you to make adjustments. They are the adjustment handles. The green, however, remember we have the green. This is your rotate handle. So when you click on that, you can rotate, spin around, turn it upside down, turn it sideways, or whatever. These are your expand, so they will expand and contract the size of your object itself. All right, in a data source, a data field represents a group of similar data. So let's take a look at our data source here. Here we have our data source, and it's all the health club data, and we have groups of similar data. So we have a group of last name, we have a group of first names, we have a group of titles, and all these groups are basically fields. But when we look in a row, for instance, a group of information in a row is considered a record or an entry. So you might have field names or you might have records in your data source. Okay, next item. Field names must be unique, and that is true. Let's go back to our data source. No field name here is the same as the other name. And it's because when the merge calls its process and it's looking at calling a field name, if you have two field names of the same, the merge function is not going to work. It's not going to know what to do. And then in fact, Word will not allow you to have two the same field names. So you have to variation the field names. For instance, address line 1 and address line 2. So they must be unique. The next concept, chevrons are the characters that surround a field in a form letter or main document. That is so true. When you look at your documents here, you can see that this is a field because it has those angle brackets and a double set of those angle brackets. When I click on this, it grays out, which tells me it's a field. Now, if I were to go on my keyboard, and I'm just going to turn off my show hide button so you can see it easier. But if I were to type angle bracket, field, angle bracket, and I go to double click on this, look, it doesn't turn gray at all. And I can highlight that and it doesn't turn gray. But when I click on a field, you can see it grays out. So I know that that is an insert field function. This is just typed character, so this would be wrong. This is not going to do anything for your document itself. Word indicates a null expression with two quotation marks. When you have a data source that does not have a condition supplied, let's take a look at our data source here. So we're going to go into Edit Data Source, and this is our data source here. I'm going to choose it and click on Edit. Now I can edit these fields or these entries to change the information. But look, under my membership, I don't have any value or any content entered there. It's actually empty. And when you look at that in your data source merge file, go ahead and update that and close this out. And I've already created a merge file here so that you can see it will return what we call a null value. So on my letter after I merged, you get a expression with quotation marks. So it didn't have anything in that value, so it didn't know what to put, so it ended up with the quotation marks there for that letter, that specific letter. Every other letter, though, it did pull out the membership type. So that is what a null value means. There's no value in the actual record, and so it expresses that null value. In the if-then-else rule condition is what appears. So this is my if-then-else rules, and if I go to my toggle field codes, the condition is what appears. So if it's a standard membership, then apply $75 to the monthly rate. So the condition will appear. And I'm going to right mouse click this and toggle my codes again. The instructions of the if fields are related to the field codes and can be toggled on and off. And I just showed you how to do that. It's a right mouse click, toggle field codes on, or toggle them off. You also have this feature here, which is update fields. And so if you made changes, you can update fields in your document. The go-to records, which is right here, can be used to display a specific letter in your document, but in your entry list and you go to edit, you actually have where you can display your records right here. So you can go to, one way to print the contents of the data source is to merge all the data records into a directory. And that is true. However, you're going to have to set up a new document and insert fields to print all that content in your data source. Portrait orientation is the long edge of the paper. It is not the short edge, it's the long edge of the paper. The short edge is not portrait, it's called landscape. And you find that a lot of times under your page layout and under orientation here. Long edge, shorter edge. Creating merged documents requires merging a form document with its data source. And that is true. We can create a document, have merged fields in it, but the fields are going to mean nothing unless you actually add the data source to it and perform the merge function. An Office address list is a Microsoft Access database, and we talked about the Access database being that key file in your content. So the Access has a little key file. One form of the if field is called the if-then-else, and it means if a condition is true, then perform an action, else perform a different action. And if you go back to your mailings and your rules and you look at the if-then-else, that's exactly what it's saying. If the field name is this, then you're going to perform this action, otherwise perform this action. An expression in a condition can be a number, and again, going back to our rules, okay, if the membership type equals and we did standard, we can have numbers here or equals, and we can put a value here that is numeric, so an expression can have numbers in it too. Okay, almost done. They greater than or equal to, and a condition is a cause or statement to consider. So again, with our rules, we don't necessarily have to have equal to. We can have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, less than, equal to. So there's other ways you can word that if then else statement. When field codes are turned on or off, the screen has no effect on the merge process. That is true, and I'm just going to expand this window so you can see. I have my fields, codes, my preview results, check for errors, insert lines, and rules all up here. But whether or not I have my field codes turned on or off, so I can toggle my codes or I can turn them off, will have no difference on the merge process. And so that is it with the video review. I would suggest you watch this review or go into the e-class and look at the review statements and read those statements to study for your Word Chapter 5 quiz.